Good morning. Can you start? Can you start? కొంచెం గట్టిగా చెప్పండి. Okay, fine. Many important articles today. Page number 1, it says growth in industrial output at 5-month low of 4.1% in March. Growth in industrial output, if you see the graph mentioned over there, growth in industrial output at 5-month low of 4.1% in March. Now what is the meaning of this? See, how we will be measuring the rises in the prices? Rises in the prices of the goods? How we will be measuring the rises in the, what is called as the rises in the prices of the goods? Inflation. How we will be measuring them? In your economy you will be learning, if you hadn't learned, through different metrics called as CPI, Consumer Price Index, WPI, Wholesale Price Index, different producer price index. This is not there in India, this is in Western, we are planning to shift to this. Now anyway, how we are measuring the rise in the prices, inflation, through these different metrics. Similarly, the rise or fall in the industrial production must be measured. See, if you see in our three industries, manufacturing or industrial sector is one of the major industry. It will be providing more contribution to the GDP, it is providing employment. Of course, all the three will be doing. Now, industrial sector is very important. Now, we should have an idea whether the industrial sector is growing or falling, isn't it? Now, how we are measuring inflation using CPI? Measurement of industrial growth in our country happens through a metric called as index of industrial production. Okay. Now, this index of industrial production will be released by an organization called as National Statistics Office under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Now there is a catch here. I hope you had heard about NSO earlier when we had discussed. Now see, in some books you might be seeing that IIP or CPI will be released by an organization called as National Sample Survey Office or Central Statistics Organization. Now what had happened actually, these two of them have been combined in 2022 and both of them together formed an office called as National Statistics Organization. Understood? Both of them have been combined to form this NSO. That's why maybe some books may not have updated. Ideally, the thing is that IIP, CPI, our GDP, all these will be measured by this Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and under this a department called as National Statistics Office. Okay, National Statistics Office. This NSO has been formed combining NSSO and CSO. Clear everyone? Now, why we are discussing this? Every month, see, some type of measurements, how we will be getting this measurements. Say for example, you can measure your performance daily, number of hours you are reading and all, maintaining accountability of your own, right? So, measurement can be done daily or weekly or monthly or quarterly or semi-annually or annually, biannually. This can happen at any type of gap, right, any interval. Now, when you are reading about an index, see, in your economy overall we will be reading some 15 to 16 measurements. Inflation measurement, GDP measurement, industrial production measurement, right. At least one question will be coming every year and those are very easier because it includes both static and conceptual things. Now, say for every type of index, say CPI or IIP, what you need to remember for the examination, both for prelims and mains. First, what is it? If IIP is there, what is the purpose of this index? Obviously, there will be some purpose. Here the purpose of IIP is measurement of industrial production, and whether it is increasing or falling. Next, Who will be releasing that? NSO. Next, third one, at what interval they are releasing, whether it is monthly, annually, semi-annually, quarterly. Now, here IIP will be released monthly, CPI will be realized monthly, GDP values. See, quarterly, every quarter we will be getting the GDP, and finally 1 year we will be having the overall measurement. Similarly, in this IIP also we will be having monthly, and finally we will be having the annual measurement. Understood? So, that is the third thing you need to remember. Next, on what criteria they are measuring? On what criteria? That means, for example, if you look at CPI, there will be 12 different categories of goods being calculated for measurement of inflation in CPI. Similarly, what are the different type of industries being counted here? Understood what I am telling? Now, these are the 4 and if any unique thing associated with it. These are the things you need to remember with any index. For sure, for the examination you will be getting one question in it. Advaitna, you see from 2013 to 2025, every year we will be having minimum of 1 and maximum of 3 questions from this. Okay. Now, since we are discussing about IIP, this IIP, what is the current affair is saying? This is the static part over here. This is being released for industrial production, released by NSO under MOSP. It will be released monthly. Now, we got the monthly estimate of March yesterday. Okay. Now, it says that 5-month low of 4.1%. If you look at that graph, we in the last 5 months, this is the lowest level. Right. Now, from March 2025, and remember, you need not remember these numbers for the examination. Obviously, these will be changing, right? Now, what you need to know? This exam ki em gurtupettukovali anante. See, for example, if you are preparing for prelims 2027, in the April you will be getting last 1 year graph. Now, for example, people who are writing prelims 2026, for them this is important. Now, what they need to know here also, not the number, they need to know whether it is increasing steadily, decreasing steadily, or it is wavering. UPSC will be asking only the trend, whether it is increasing, decreasing, or wavering. Here it is wavering. In the last 1 year it is not steady. Okay. Next, second thing what you need to know, before going to your mains in August, in July, once you need to have a look whether how is the graph, because you can code that in industrial answers, because that is official measurement from the UPSC, official measurement from the government. You can write that in your answers. So, this adds value to our answers. But for the examination you need not remember the numbers, just the range is sufficient, say 4%, that is more than enough. Next, this is about IIP, and one more thing what you need to remember about IIP is that, see, this is one such measurement. For measurement of industries there are many more measurements. There is annual survey of industries, index of 8 core sectors, okay, quarterly estimates of industries. These are different type of measurements being measured for industrial production in our country. These are government. Along with that, we will be having private sector also. For example, IHS market releases separate industrial production metric. Now, this is a company, and the name of the index which they will be releasing is Purchasing Managers Index. This also you will be seeing monthly. Nenu enduku idi anta clear ga cheptunanante, see, every month all of them will be released monthly. Every month you will be getting the news about them. Manam okkasari maatrame cheyali, because just the numbers will be changing, the background concept won't be changing, right? For example, again next month May 28th we will be getting this news, June 20th we will be getting this news. Only the number change must be counted, remaining all will be the same. Okay. Next, further, now as I mentioned, this index of industrial production measures industrial production of all the industries. Why this is special compared to other industrial indices is that while measuring GDP, NSO will be using the values which it had taken using the survey of NSO. during the research of NSO, research of IIP, what all the values they got, they will be using the same values in GDP measurement. So this IIP will be indirectly used in GDP measurement. Understood? GDP loni enta production method telusu kada. What are the three methods of GDP? Production method, income method, expenditure method. Production method, what is the methodology? Summation of value added by all the industries in the country. Production method. So why we are calling this as production method? Okay, industry ఎంత ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేస్తుంది అనేది యాడ్ చేస్తున్నాం కదా, బీయింగ్ వాల్యూ యాడెడ్ బై అన్ ఇండస్ట్రీ, దట్స్ వై we are calling it as production method. Now the hypothetical case which we will be taking is that all the products produced in our country will be sold. If that means if we are selling, there should be someone to buy it. So that means if someone is buying, that means that person has income. So here the income is, what are the four factors of production? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Four factors of production is land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. What are the factor payments for them? Rent, wages, interest, profit. So we will be adding all four of them. Here also we will be getting the GDP. Our ideal idea is that all the products produced in our country are being purchased using the income. So we will be calling this as income method. Now further, we can also say in the format of expenditure. So that means the income which they are getting, they are spending it. So in the format of expenditure, C plus I plus G plus X minus M, right? All the three must be equal, obviously. In the end, we are taking an hypothetical case. Remember it, we are taking an hypothetical case. Now in our measurement of GDP, say for example in this GVA, we will be using this IIP value. Okay. Next further, what is the thing you need to remember for the examination? IIP will be having, if IIP is 100%, in this 40.27% is specifically about 8 core industries. Among all the industries, some industries are very, very important. These are called as 8 core industries. Now these 8 core industries are such an important that in the 100%, these 8 industries itself will be having 40.27% weightage. అర్థమైందా నేను చెప్తుంది, 40.27% weightage. Now the measurement of these 8 industries will be separately given by an index called as index of 8 core sectors. Understood? Now you need to know what are these 8 core sectors. This is important. UPSC had asked this twice. Now in the IIP, what is the weightage of these 8 sectors? Ekkutunda brain ke. If at all, please ask me. If you are unable to, not only me, if someone is standing here, if you are unable to ask, meere last lo untaru. If you are unable to ask, don't hesitate. మొహమాటానికి ఇక్కడ ఏముండదు, ఇంట్రోవర్ట్ ఎక్స్ట్రోవర్ట్ ఏముండదు, మనకి ఎగ్జామ్ క్వాలిఫై అవ్వాలంటే అడగాలి మీరు. ఓకే. Now say for example, what are the 8 industries here? This is the mnemonic for it. Rescue concentration of fertilizers. This is in the descending order. This is in the descending order. You need to remember in the same order, because for example last time UPSC had asked among the 8 core sectors which is having the least weightage, and once it had given 4 industries and it had asked to arrange it in ascending order and descending order, right? So what are these 8 industries? Refinery products. Cheppandi. Guess. Electricity. Energy is not an industry, this is a grouping, right? Electricity. Next. Steel. Good. Next. Cement కన్నా సీతో ఇంకేమైనా గొప్పది లేదా? ఇంకా coal. Next. Crude oil. See, that's why I had kept here O. Okay. Crude oil. Next. Natural gas. Next. Cement. Next. Fertilizers. Okay. ఇది నా IPR ఇది, right? I have complete patent on it. Now anyway, rescue concentration of fertilizers, highest is the refinery products, least is the fertilizers. These are the 8 industries. Okay. Next. Shall we proceed next topic? Yeah, next. This is another very important topic. Okay sir, మొత్తం important వస్తాయి పేపర్లో. UAE announces exit from OPEC group. UAE announces exit from OPEC group. Now what is this OPEC group? This is a very big news for the international sphere. ఏంటిది అసలు? See, from your knowledge of economy as of now, if there is huge level of production of a specific item, say item X has heavy production, what will be its cost? Less, because supply is more, demand will be less. So that means if production rises, price decreases. Production decreases, price increases. Clarity? Now see, some countries in the world are completely dependent on a single industry called as crude oil. UAE, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, Oman, Qatar, right? Many industries, Angola. There are some countries where they are completely dependent on crude oil. Now the thing is that if they are producing more, since they are having more, see, they are having huge amount of reserves. If they are producing more, obviously the cost of their cost will be reduced in the international market. That will be problem for them. They will be getting less income. So what they have to do? They have to reduce the production. If they are reducing production in a single country, it won't be happening, because other country will be increasing the production, they will be having more customers, right? So what these countries had done, they had met in Iraq in Baghdad conference, and what they had done, they had formed a grouping called as Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. So what would be their agenda? Tell me. Together they will reduce the production. Together they will maintain the stable production such that they will be getting more income. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళ ఎకానమీ is based on that, right? So OPEC is a grouping, cartel of suppliers. It is a grouping of suppliers. అర్థమైందా నేను చెప్తుంది? Now since they will limit the production, they will limit the production, price will be increased. Now why they are doing this? They are creating artificial scarcity. Now the reason is that because they are dependent on that and they will be getting more GDP, more income, they are doing this. Now that is right from their point of view. This is called as OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Now every time they will be having meetings and they will be keeping their limits. But in this OPEC grouping, earlier there used to be 16 nations. It reduced to 14, it increased to 15, it reduced to 13, it reduced to 12, it increased to 14. Now with the, it reduced to 12. Now see that article, UAE withdraw from OPEC. Now it will become 11. Okay, right? Now obviously for the exam, will India become a part of it? India దగ్గర లేదు కదా, right? Now the OPEC is a grouping which mainly deals with the production. Now for example, more than 70% of the crude oil production is there with this OPEC grouping only in the world. Now వీళ్ళే కాదు కదా, ఇంకా చాలా మంది దగ్గర ఉండొచ్చు కదా. For example, USA has reserves, USA is not part of it. Russia has reserves, Russia is not part of it. Angola has reserves, Angola left this grouping, right? And now what these countries had requested, other crude oil producing countries to also become part of it. Okay, now but those countries didn't accept it. అయితే వాళ్ళు ఏం చేశారంటే వాళ్ళకు కూడా డబ్బులు కావాలి కదా. So what they had told, we will form another grouping. That grouping is named as OPEC plus. OPEC plus. Now what is this OPEC plus? Along with the OPEC, some more countries who didn't want to join OPEC, they had formed a separate grouping. Now in that OPEC plus, OPEC countries will be there, some additional countries will also be there. For example, Russia. Russia is part of this. Now the idea here also, the idea is to reduce the production so that they will be getting more income. This is also called as Vienna Group. Vienna Group. Okay. Now if you know the importance, if you want to know the importance of this news, see this image. Currently OPEC has 12 members, OPEC plus has 10 members, that means other than these 12, 10 more. These are the major players. UAE had announced that they will be leaving from May 1st. The article also mentions that. And UAE also says that we also do not want to become part of OPEC plus. మాకు నచ్చినట్టు మేము చేస్తామని చెప్పి ఓపెక్ చెప్తుంది. Sorry, this UAE is telling. UAE had come out because the reason is that the idea is that they will be getting more production. That is fine, but they are keeping limits, sovereignty against, that is secondary, but they cannot sell more, right? Now governments will be having individual contracts. For example, India is having contracts with UAE, Saudi Arabia. As per that limits, we cannot buy more, right? So ఆ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ అన్నీ వస్తాయి కాబట్టి UAE had come out. This is a jolt on the OPEC. The reason is that UAE is one of the major crude oil producer. Understood? Highest Saudi Arabia, then Iraq, Iran, UAE. Understood? And in fact in this news there is a background to it. See, this OPEC is majorly centered around Iran and Iraq. Now USA is a very close friend to UAE, right? Understood the metric, right? So UAE do not want to become part of this grouping. Clear? Now for the prelims examination, obviously for the mains they won't be asking this. Just you can use it as an example anywhere. West Asia లోని జరుగుతున్న డైనమిక్స్ ఇండియాకి ఎలా ఎఫెక్ట్ అవుతాయి అని చెప్పి. నెక్స్ట్ ఫర్ ద ప్రిలిమ్స్ యూ నీడ్ టు నో ది members of OPEC and OPEC plus. Clear? Now there is one more concept related to the OPEC plus. Remember, see, I do not think so. See, these type of things will be covered in your IR in the foundation classes. I do not know obviously, but the faculty who will be telling, I do not know whether they will be covering or not. Now specifically for IR, you need to make the note, not note making. నేను చెప్తుంది ఏంటి అంటే OPEC. See, in my NCERT class I had mentioned how to make the notes right. Now in the same format write OPEC. Now today we will be seeing SCO also, IIP. In the monthly magazine, make note of them. అవి చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. Now see, all these things generally aspirants will be doing post February. Don't burden yourself. Do this daily. అర్థమవుతుందా నేను చెప్తుంది? ఇప్పుడు మీరు చదివితే తర్వాత ఫ్రీ అయిపోద్ది కదా. See, again this OPEC will be in the news. Again editorials will be coming on the OPEC, impact of OPEC and all. ఒక్కసారి మనం చూస్తే సరిపోతుంది. Need not do day by day commentary. You are seeing right, Iran, Israel గురించి ఎలాగో వస్తున్నాయో, the same format. Now one more concept in the examination related to this is called as Asian premium. This is not mentioned in the article anyway. What is this Asian premium? The problem with respect to this OPEC and OPEC countries is India questions this Asian premium. What is this Asian premium? India em question chestadante, these countries while exporting oil to Asian countries, they will be putting an additional duty. That is called as Asian premium. India questions this. మీరు ఎక్కడికి పంపించినా వేయట్లేదు. If you are sending to Africa, you are not imposing this. But when you are sending only to Asia, you are imposing this. The only thing you need to know, what is this Asian premium. Understood? Asian countries మీద వేసే the additional tax being imposed on the Asian countries is called as Asian premium. Okay? Next. Anti-terrorism squad begins probe into Thane knife attack, ATS. This is about some type of terror attack happened over there. Not a specific terror attack. Terror angle ఉందేమో అని చూస్తున్నారు అంతే. Trump unhappy with Iran's peace proposal. అంతే, మనకేం అవసరం లేదు. He will be not happy anytime. Sorry? అర్థం కాలే. In Andhra Pradesh you are asking. Rumors, bulk diversions, cross border demand trigger fresh reset fuel outlets. I am not getting what you are asking.
Government says we have enough fuel.
With respect to this current fuel shortage dilemma in Andhra and Telangana, right? Frankly, the open thing is that in Andhra and Telangana bunks, we are having petrol, we are having crude oil, this diesel and all. Now what had happened in the social media, some had posted that there is crisis, war is further being increased over there. Now WhatsApp University మనకు తెలిసిందే కదా, war is further being increased over there. Now because of that, panic buying had started. Now this message got forwarded to many groups, panic buying started. Now this got spread like a wildfire, right? Now the thing you need to accept is that petrol bunks will be having limited capacity. Malli tankలు రావాలి కదా ఒక దగ్గర నుండి, right? Now what happened in Andhra Pradesh, because of this panic buying, the person who will be taking 1 liter and 2 liter, he or she had taken full tank. Some had brought these Pepsi bottles or tanks and all. Everything is finished. Again they have to get the petrol. And further what had happened, bordering states had came to Telangana, bordering people had came to Telangana and they had bought. That rumors went as a wildfire in Telangana also. This is an artificial scarcity. Okay, 2-3 రోజులు అయితే ఆటోమేటిక్గా సరిపోద్ది. And in Andhra now the situation became stable already. Okay, that is just a fake news. Because of the fake news there will be these type of consequences. Okay. In Telugu also we will be saying this quote, నిజము ఇల్లు దాటేలోపు అబద్ధం ఊరంతా దాటేస్తుంది అని చెప్పి. CV Anand garu is being appointed as the new DGP of Telangana. Now for the examination, what we need to take from there, see obviously his appointment is not important for our examination. Now what is the process of appointing this DGP? ఇది పెద్ద problematic thing. The reason is that, see page number 6, see what is the issue here. Generally in a state, Chief Secretary and DGP are the major positions. Chief Secretary generally will be an IAS officer, DGP will be an IPS officer. Now he will be the head of the police department, he or she will be the head of the complete administration department, collectors and all. Now problem ekkada ostadi, generally a chief minister will be trying to appoint them of their near and dear ones, because they have to act as per their will. Now what happens with this? And further, if they are not liking them, they can remove them. There is no clarity. See, this is not only case with DGP, with DSPs, SPs, IGs, all the people will be having the same problem, isn't it? మీరు చూసే ఉంటారు కదా పేపర్స్, మూవీస్ అండ్ ఆల్. సేమ్ ఈజ్ ద కేస్ విత్ CS, చీఫ్ సెక్రటరీ. అట్లీస్ట్ దెర్ ఆర్ సమ్ రెస్ట్రిక్షన్స్ ఫర్ చీఫ్ సెక్రటరీ. నౌ దిస్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ కేస్ విత్ ఆంధ్ర అండ్ తెలంగాణ, కేస్ విత్ ఎంటైర్ కంట్రీ. అందరూ మనుషులే కదా, రైట్? ఎంటైర్ కంట్రీ. నౌ దిస్ went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court in a judgment called as Prakash Singh judgment. This is very important. Prakash Singh judgment, it had given Prakash Singh guidelines. Now what are the guidelines? These guidelines clearly say how appointment must happen. They shouldn't be removed as per the whims and fancies of the chief minister and council of ministers. There should be some criteria, there should be some fixed criteria, that who will be the experienced person, the age criteria, they must given the higher position, seniority ఇవన్నీ కూడా చేయాలి అని చెప్పి this Prakash Singh judgment says. Similarly, with respect to IAS officers appointment and this chief secretary appointment, there is another judgment in the Supreme Court called as TSR Subramaniam case. In this judgment also they had Prakash Singh is a police officer, TSR Subramaniam is an IAS officer. They went to the Supreme Court because they got affected by these whims and fancies of the people. In those judgments, Supreme Court had given the guidelines. అర్థమైందా? Now both of them you will be learning in your governance చెప్పకపోతే అప్పుడు నన్ను అడగండి. బట్ ఆబ్వియస్ అంటే అప్పుడు ఇంకా క్లియర్గా డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం. బట్ ద థింగ్ ఈస్ దట్ ప్రకాష్ సింగ్ కేస్ this is more than enough. You need to just quote them in the answers. Okay. Prakash Singh case related to police, TSR Subramanian case related to civil services reforms, basically chief secretary appointment and all. Next, page number 7, we had seen this. Google's AI data hub project kicks off in Andhra Pradesh. Similarly, in the next month there will be another foundation stone for another 1.5 gigawatt data center in Visakhapatnam of Reliance Industries. This was announced yesterday. Now, why this focus on data centers currently? What are these data centers explicitly? See, now say for example our class which is going on, you are seeing the class in an app called as Vishnu IAS app. You see, Vishnu IAS app is powered by a company called as Class Plus. Hyderabad lo unna maximum andardi Class Plus or Apex. These two are cloud computing service providers. Now, if you look at the entire building of Vishnu IAS, there is no place of data storage here. Ekkada ledu. But where this is being stored? This is being stored in cloud. This class which is going on. Now, currently this is being hosted on YouTube. YouTube will be having the data servers. Similarly, Vishnu IAS had given outsourced this activity of data management, app management to a cloud computing company called as Class Plus. They will be maintaining this servers. Atlane, now look at our Google, say Google Maps, sorry, this Google Drive, Google Photos, are they present in your mobile? Andulo me Google Photos me mobile lo unnaya? You need to, only Google Photos app is there. The photos can be accessed through the internet. That is stored in some data center. Understood? Now, say if they are nearby us, latency will be less. We know this, right? Latency will be less. So, since India is one of the major hub for them, they are keeping these data centers where storage, management, processing, everything will be happening here. Understood? Storage of data, management of data, processing of data, everything will be happening here. Right. If data is a new oil, data centers are the new refineries of the 21st century. Data ni crude oil nela petrol, diesel kinda marchtunamo. Data ni we are changing with the usable information. Right. Data is raw, information is usable. Understood? Please. Yeah. This is data center. Say for example, some data is being generated in Southeast Asia. Say for example, in Singapore. That will be connected through under subsea cables to Visakhapatnam. So, data transfer will be happened here and storage will be happening here. Obviously, there will be a problem. Right, that is the problem. Now, the major problem is that electricity shortage. Now, say of course, opposition parties in Andhra Pradesh and major opposition parties in India are also alleging that these data centers will take huge amount of electricity. This can increase further global warming, greenhouse gas emissions and all. Kani, okati kavalante okati vadalukovali. Right? Ante kada? Chadavali ante cinemalu chudam tagginchali. The same manner. Sorry? No. From where? See, from here we will be accessing, here the data center is there, we can access through wireless medium only. Now satellites will be having access to them and we can get access to them directly through the satellite. Understood? Right. Doubt cheppandi. Yeah, that is true. And what she is telling is that because of the problem with respect to this aquatic or electricity shortage, we can keep that data center in this space, isn't it? Now, Google had announced a new project called as Project Suncatcher. This is a research project. This is very important for this year prelims. This happened 4 months back. This is a research project to place data centers in this space, but we do not have sufficient technology as of now, whether it will be efficient or not. We have to look at that also, but they had announced this project and they will be taking the electricity directly from the sun, solar panels. Project Suncatcher, right? Next, Enkathala may get conservation reserve tag. Page number 7, middle article. Enkathala may get conservation reserve tag. What is Enkathala? See, this is an place where animals will be living and all. It is a grassland in Vikarabad. మనకి ఎగ్జామ్ కావాల్సింది అది కాదు. Now what is the thing? See, whether protecting our biodiversity is important, protecting our flora and fauna are important. We know what will be happening if we are removing this honeybees, what will be happening if we will be removing our high predator species. Every species in the world is important except the humans, right? Now we are also important. If we are not there, chicken and mutton will be increased, and అవి బతికే ఉంటాయి కదండి. That is a problem. Anyway, now so we have to protect these species. How we have to protect? See, protection of biodiversity happens through two mechanisms. Whether we can protect them where they are living in their habitat, whether we can also protect them by taking them and keeping in some place, safe place. Now if we are protecting them in their habitat, that is called as in situ protection. Ante forest ki velli vallu protect cheste, or else if we are taking them to another place and protecting them, this is called as ex situ protection. Example of in situ protection is national park, wildlife sanctuary. Example of ex situ, zoo park. In the zoo park we are bringing them and we are keeping, right? Now these in situ protections in adhamaitna in situ ante enti andarki, these are protected in our country based on an act called as Wildlife Protection Act 1972. This Wildlife Protection Act 1972 creates national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and along with them conservation reserves and community reserves, right? Now ఇప్పుడు ఆర్టికల్ చదవండి. Enkathala may get conservation reserve tag. Now this Enkathala, a place in Vikarabad, may be announced as a conservation reserve. Now what are these conservation reserves? These are majorly areas which are adjoining any tiger reserve, national park or wildlife sanctuary. Now there these animals inside that national park might come out. మనకు బౌండరీస్ తెలుసు, దానికి బౌండరీలు తెలియవు కదా, రైట్? Now so it might come out and there might be some areas where it is not included in the national park or wildlife sanctuary. We need to protect them. So in this format, this Enkathala is also being announced as a community reserve, sorry, this conservation reserve. Clear? Now what is the difference between conservation reserve and community reserve? Community reserve, we will be calling that area being announced as community reserve if the land is owned by the public and community over there. It will be announced as conservation reserve if the land is owned by the government. Understood? Next. SCO we will see in this article class. అయితే మేజర్గా అందులో ఏమీ గొప్పలేం జరగలేదు. Page number 12, 9,400 accounts banned for being linked to digital arrest. What is meant by digital arrest? Heard this digital arrest? No? Say for example, 1 year back when you are calling someone, you used to get a caller tune. ఏంటిది, ఎవరైనా మీకు ఫోన్ చేసి సిబిఐ వాళ్ళు మిమ్మల్ని అరెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు, ఆర్ ఫెడెక్స్ కొరియర్ వస్తుంది మీ పేరు మీద అని చెప్తే నమ్మొద్దు అని చెప్పి. సి వాట్ విల్ బి హ్యాపెనింగ్, సమ్మన్ విల్ బి కాలింగ్ యూ అండ్ దే విల్ బి టెలింగ్ దట్ యూ హ్యావ్ బీన్ అరెస్టెడ్ digitally, they will be asking, please come in, yeah, they will be asking you to convert to Skype call or video call, and they will be showing you some digital FIR that these cases have been filed on you. Now they will tell that you have been arrested. If you are not giving money, immediately, this case will be further increased. Now we know police station అంటే మనకు భయం, our pride won't be accepting, so immediately many people will be sending money. This is called as digital arrest because the people who are arresting they will be creating fake police station background. They will be telling that we are calling from this police station, some will be saying that they are CBI officers, some will be saying that we are customs officers. In your name drugs వచ్చాయి FedEx parcel అని చెప్తారు. Now this creates panic and we will be transferring them the money. This is a type of new cyber attack, cyber threat. Understood? Now this article says that 9,400 accounts related to this digital arrest have been blocked. Okay. We had seen rupee depreciation in our Saturday class already, and this we need to see this PLI scheme. PLI scheme we will see in the Saturday class. Okay, thank you. Clear everyone? అర్థమైనా అన్ని ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ ఎట్లా లేవు? కొంచెం నవ్వండి. ఇంకా 4 hours చదవాలి మీరు క్లాస్లో, రైట్? 2 hours, sorry. You may not be having for next 3 to 4 days also. Yeah. Okay. Economic class. Thank you.